So we just witnessed some absolute bangers for Wild Card Weekend Day 1. Let's talk about it. All right, so in our first matchup, we had the Texans taking on the Browns in Houston. And this game was interesting for all of about maybe the first half. Once the second half started, this was game over, lights out. And a lot of people are going to look at those back-to-back pick sixes by Joe Flacco, and rightfully so. Once he threw those, the game was pretty much over. But I think that really accelerated what was already happening to the Browns. If you look at it, at first, it looked like there was going to be a battle between these two quarterbacks. I mean, it was back and forth, touchdown after touchdown. But at some point, the Browns just sort of stopped scoring. So there were some missed penalties in this game that may have swung the momentum in the early going. The first one being the pass interference not called on Nelson covering Njoku. And the Browns ended up going 3-and-out on this drive, but to me, it looked like he got there early. Even in real time, I kind of thought that they were gonna call that, but was a little bit shocked when they didn't. And then that's not even to mention the Spinaroonie that Desmond King did all over Joe Flacco that didn't end up getting called. And I know different officiating crews are different for different games, but if Mahomes gets the roughing the passer penalty, I don't see how this isn't at least considered. Like, he's giving himself up. The defensive player clearly launches himself into the quarterback, and then he even does a dance on his face. I'm sorry, I'm watching the replay, and it it gets funnier the more I look at it. I don't understand. And I'm not saying that if he doesn't throw those picks, they actually win the game. But once he threw those, all the momentum went out of their sails. But hats off to the Houston defense, because even before those picks, it looked like the Browns weren't going anywhere, really. They were kind of running in place. And the one drive, they got, I believe they were in the red zone when he threw that first pick. So that was pretty rough for them and what they had going. But regardless of that, I don't think that they would have done anything to affect the way the game came out. On the other side of that, CJ Stroud is looking every bit like the rookie of the year that he deserves. And he's got a potential rookie defensive player of the year on the other side of the ball too. So this Texans team is scary, and I wouldn't be surprised if they actually pull an upset in the divisional round. But, we'll see what happens. We'll see who they end up playing and how the standings turn out. But right now, I would not want to be the team that has to face this Texans team. All right, so the next game that we had was the Dolphins and the Chiefs in the most expected result of all time. Pretty much what happened, we expected to happen. The Chiefs didn't play lights out or anything like that, but they looked like they knew what they were doing in the cold, and the Dolphins pretty much didn't. That's what it boiled down to. There's been a lot of questions about McDaniel's play calling and not getting Tyreek and Waddle more involved. I don't know what the actual numbers are. I'll look them up as I'm doing some editing, but I don't know that that was the main issue. There was a lot of drops going around for both teams, but at the end of the day, Kansas City just moved the ball and scored points to where the Dolphins just weren't able to. There was that roughing the passer penalty on Patrick Mahomes that didn't really make much sense. He was out of the pocket and scrambling. I believe he was out of the tackle box as well. So I don't know why that was called. And just like with the Browns-Texans game, I don't know that that would have changed the outcome of the game overall, but it was a huge momentum shift. So instead of it being 3rd and forever or 4th and forever, and the Dolphins getting the ball back with maybe some good field position, the Chiefs end up getting the red zone opportunity and end up getting another score. So that one sort of hurt them a little bit. But again, even outside of that penalty, the Dolphins were doing zilch. And those last few drives of the game, it really didn't seem like they had the urgency to even try to score. Like they had already given up at that point. The game was only a 2-score game at this point, so there was plenty of opportunity to come back. But in any event, these games gave us nothing of note. The only thing that I took away from this first set of games is the Texans are a dangerous team. The Chiefs, my jury's still out on the Chiefs. Mahomes is still Mahomes, and that's who he's going to be. But I don't know. I'm waiting for them to show me that they are the Chiefs, the actual Chiefs of old, before I go ahead and put them all the way into the Super Bowl. But we'll see. More games coming today and tomorrow, and then we'll have some crazy matchups in the divisional round.